The Gospel of Mark is a fast-paced and action-packed account of the life and ministry of Jesus Christ. While there are many important themes throughout the book, three stand out as particularly significant: Jesus as the suffering servant, the call to discipleship, and the power and authority of Jesus. First, let's consider the theme of Jesus as the suffering servant. Throughout the Gospel of Mark, Jesus is portrayed as a humble and selfless servant who has come to serve and save humanity. He is not the triumphant Messiah that many of the Jews were expecting, but rather a servant who will suffer and die for the sins of the world. This idea of Jesus as the suffering servant is perhaps best summed up in Mark chapter 10 verse 45, where Jesus says, "For even the Son of Man did not come to be served, but to serve, and to give his life as a ransom for many." From this theme, we learn that we should recognize the sacrifice that Jesus made for us and strive to follow his example of selfless service. Secondly, Mark emphasizes the call to discipleship. Jesus calls his followers to take up their cross and follow him, even in the face of persecution and suffering. This call to discipleship is not just for the 12 apostles, but for all who would follow Jesus. Mark's gospel challenges us to be faithful and obedient disciples who are willing to follow Jesus wherever he leads us. We must be willing to deny ourselves, take up our cross, and follow him. From this theme, we learn that we should be committed and faithful disciples, even in the face of adversity. Finally, Mark highlights the power and authority of Jesus. Through his teachings, miracles, and exorcisms, Jesus demonstrates his power over sickness, death, and the forces of evil. He is not just a servant who suffers and dies, but a powerful and authoritative figure who has come to bring salvation to humanity. Mark's Gospel encourages us to trust in the power and authority of Jesus to transform our lives and bring us salvation. We can have confidence that he has the power to heal our sicknesses, forgive our sins, and overcome the forces of evil that seek to destroy us. In summary, the Gospel of Mark teaches us important lessons about following Jesus. We should recognize the sacrifice that Jesus made for us and strive to follow his example of selfless service. We should be committed and faithful disciples, even in the face of adversity. And we should trust in the power and authority of Jesus to transform our lives and bring us salvation.